As my 30s come to an end, I'm literally 60 days away from turning 40. I thought that success was all about the next big promotion or buying a bigger house or buying my second house or a third house or whatever. I didn't realize that true security isn't like literally just about what you own. It took going through my 30s to really understand what it's all about. And it's about how are you prepared for life and how things could go the wrong way, and also the type of generational wealth that you also may pass on to those that you love. So today I'm going to share with you the 10 things I wish I knew a decade ago that bridge the gap between living a good life and living a life that's being ready for anything. We're gonna call this my thing I wish I knew in my 30s, life and survival lessons. Number one, health is your primary bug out gear, your primary bug out bag. Health is wealth. Health is the currency that you can't necessarily trade up on, at least unless you're like a super duper rich. And even when you're super duper rich, you still can't necessarily trade up on it unless there's some secret I don't know. You can have all the gear in the world. You can have all the stuff in the world. You can have all the houses that you want. But if you're not physically fit, you are a liability to yourself. It's something that I'm vowing to work on, going cold turkey on a lot of stuff, because I've relatively made it through my 30s healthy, and I want to keep it that way as I go through my 40s. Really want to focus on the fundamental strength and cardiovascular fitness, because the wear and tear of my 40s is about to be upon us. If you thought wear and tear happened in your 30s, I see my elders and I understand what the 40s bring upon us. Especially, I have 3 kids under 4 and I have 5 kids altogether under 18. There's a lot more life to go when you have those type of numbers. And I definitely want to be around for them. Number 2, financial resilience equals luxury. That's something that took me a while to really think about. Debt is a form of fragility. Boats that aren't paid off, even a boat that is paid off, is kind of a bottomless pit. A car that still has a vehicle note on it. Just any debt that's just lingering out there, whether it's payday loans or whatever the case may be, the stuff is out there and it's not necessarily the best thing for you. One thing I learned the hard way is making sure that I build a 6-month life insurance plan where I can pay for all utilities, the mortgage, everything, just in case of an emergency and just in case income dwindles. Someone loses a job, someone's unable to work for a long period of time, but they don't lose their job, but they're unpaid or whatever. Before you buy any of the prepper gear, before you buy any of the EDC stuff, before you get any of that crap, making sure that you have resilience financially, because it's going to be a lot more resilient than having the best prep gear ever in the world. Number 3, community is better than a bunker. I've learned this greatly in my 30s, that building a community around you, being a lone wolf, is not the way to go. It's a fantasy. It's something that's not going to necessarily work. And getting to know your neighbors is a key thing. My wife oftentimes makes fun of me because I know all my neighbors. I know who they are, if they're retired, if they still have a job, what religion they are, how many kids they got, if their kids still live with them. I know my neighbors. And building that community spreads out beyond knowing the 135 houses in my neighborhood. I don't know all 135 neighbors, but I know how many houses are in my neighborhood. I know my immediate neighbors. I know my mailman. I know my community around me. And the thing is that knowing your neighbors can be a critical skill that you don't have to learn organically. You can just get out and get to know people. Plop some chairs in front of each other's houses, pop out some bourbon or coffee or tea or water, and see if you can get to know some people. In a crisis, the person who knows how to fix a pipe or garden next door is worth more than a crate of ammo. And that came into handy just recently. I did a vlog video where I showed myself turning off the water to my neighbor's house, telling him he had a leak. Those are just little skills that he didn't know how to do. But on the flip side, he's like a phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal golfer. I want to know how to do that stuff better. And it goes beyond that. So just giving those type of skills to one another is a really, really big thing. The fourth one I think is kind of important as well, which is skills weigh nothing. Okay. Even if you don't have money, even if you aren't right now in the best shape of your life, skills don't weigh anything. So knowledge can't be stolen. It can't be lost. Well, Alzheimer's and dementia, I get that. But what I'm saying is that even if you're locked up in a prison, even if you're broke as a joke, having knowledge, reading stuff, gleaning stuff from others can't be taken away from you. Spend your 30s learning legacy skills. Gardening, how to use tools properly, basic mechanics, first aids, very, very low key EMT skills, food preservation, how to prepare and have warming layers, how to survive a couple of days on your own, how do you resource and clean water. Those skills can be taught and can be retained, just as well as how to balance a checkbook and how to make sure you don't overdraft your checking account. I mean, both of those are important, and these are all skills that are something that are big time. You can be book smart, but having those skills that come in common sense in life, you can learn those as well. Here's one that's tough in your 30s, especially if you are slowly but surely gaining money or gaining more resources. Buy once, cry once is something that is a hard lesson to learn. That's something that's really big for me. Cheap gear fails the most when you need it the most. Whether it's a watch, it's a knife, it's a lighter, it's your water filtration system. Very cheap gear that you got on a deal can oftentimes, when you need it the most, fail you. If you decide to get a different battery tech and those batteries are drained when you need your generator the most, that could suck. If you decide to not get the 100% wool blanket and you get like a wool blend and it's only 30% wool, and now you find yourself in 20-degree weather inside of a car with no heat, that could suck. So buy once, cry once is a thing that's hard to learn. I'm not the biggest fan of gear failing on me. That's why I will oftentimes spin a nut to make sure my stuff is good to go. You can apply this for life in prepping. It doesn't matter if it's a pair of muck boots, any type of boots, a generator, or a kitchen appliance. Invest in quality that lasts 4 years. I'm staring at 2 industrial size freezer/refrigerator combos, and these things were bought in 2002. Knock on wood, they have never failed, and I bought them from my neighbor, so I know, they bought them in 2002. Now I own them. They've had zero failure. He had the original owner's manual. They were made in America, high quality stuff. And if you're getting stuff that has gizmos, gadgets, TVs inside of them, and they can tell you, your birthday, and they can sing a song to you, maybe that's cute, but maybe it's not as resilient as you think. Number 6, mental fortitude is a muscle. It's something that need to be trained, just like you can lose your jump. When's the last time you jumped? Really think about that. When's the last time you jumped? Jump some rope, okay? Mental fortitude is something that can be strengthened as well. So stress management is a survival skill. What will you do if someone begins to have a seizure near you? You can't administer first aid, but could you keep yourself calm so the people around you could do what they need to do? That's a real thing. If you have an ice storm or your power goes out or a burglar breaks into your house, mental fortitude is something that you could definitely work on and learn. Practice controlled discomfort, cold showers, long hikes, fasting, intermittent fasting, that type of stuff you can do on purpose to bring discomfort to yourself and give yourself mental fortitude. Instead of taking a car somewhere, take a walk. Instead of taking your bike, take your scooter. Instead of taking your scooter, whatever, so forth and so on. If you can't handle a bad day at the office, you will not be able to handle a grid down scenario. It's not going to happen. Number 7, water is the most important thing you could ever imagine in your life. It's more important than food. You can go a long time without food, but you really can only about 2 days max without water, depending on how much water retention that you have. I say if you have the room to stockpile at least 3 months worth of pasta and all that other type of stuff, yeah, that's great. But make sure you have at least 5 days to 2 weeks worth of water if possible, if you have the room or the ability to get that really, really quickly. Learn about water filtration systems. Can you get a deep well on your property? Can you catch the rain? These are different ways. Can you go down to a creek and figure out how you're going to gather that water up and then later on filter it? These are things that you could learn and know how to do way faster than storing a shit ton of ramen noodles. Okay, it's a lot more durable. It's a lot more important. Big thing that you need to know how to do. Number 8, your 30s are a time to set the stage. So don't wait till your 50s to buy your homestead or your forever home. If you can do it in your 30s, I would say go for it. This is the opportunity for you to get it and decide how are you going to build it out. My family owns 60 acres in East Texas. We own the property that I'm in now. We own property in other parts of the United States, such as Mississippi and Arkansas and Ohio. What are we going to do in homestead, that type of stuff? Are we going to farm some of it? We have a pig slaughtering farm in Mississippi. We have our property in East Texas. We allow folks to go on there and hunt it for lease revenue. And the folks that own the minerals on the land, because we own the land, but we don't own the mineral rights because Texas. So the folks that access that land have to pay us that stuff as well. We let an electric company keep a power grid on there, and that generates revenue as well. But when it comes down to it, how are we going to homestead that? How are we going to grow it out, build it out? That type of stuff is what we think about now. The biggest thing is that having those survival bones, that's the type of property that you're looking for. Townhomes are great. Having an apartment is fantastic, but you don't want to necessarily not have the ability to have a solar panel. You want the ability to have a water source nearby. I live about 400 feet from a creek, and it's enough land here technically to garden if I really needed to. So these are things that I think about just in my immediate area. Number 9, digital privacy is personal security. I literally did not have Facebook from 2019 until 2025. I just reactivated it for the sake of Marine X, just to have like a small community of folks that can follow me there. But I didn't miss it in those 6 years. And being able to put online what you know people can use against you, period. If you have a social media, you're okay with people using that against you. I say this when I make videos about other creators, or I say this about anything. If you're on the internet, you're exposing yourself for folks to use it against you, either for comments and making fun of you, all the way to knowing exactly where you live, stay, and what you have. So digital scrubbing is something that you might want to do in your 30s. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're okay with how everything is, but that's something that you want to think about. Number 10, purpose is the number one survival tool. Why the hell are you gaining life skills? Why do you own that house? Why do you go to work every day? Why do you pay that car note? Why are you prepping? I am assuming you're doing it maybe out of fear, maybe not. Maybe you're doing it to make sure your family's safe, maybe not. Maybe you're doing it and you don't know why you're doing it. If you don't know why you're doing prep, why you're going to work, why you're paying that car note, you're going to burn out. You're going to stop doing it. You may fall into a phase where you don't give a F about it. So you need to build a life you actually want to survive for. I want to survive for my 5 kids. I want to focus that on my family. You can focus that on your faith. You can focus that on legacy or generational wealth or whatever matters to you. But why the hell are you doing the things that you do every day? I mean, these are 10 things that if you carry these throughout your 30s and you prep them for your 40s, I think they will hold you a long way. If you're in your 30s right now, it's the perfect blend of energy and resources, and you don't want to waste them. This is the time when you still got some of that energy from your 20s, and this is the opportunity to not let your body get away from you. But comment down below, what's a life skill that I missed out on? If you're older than me, tell me something that I need to look for in my 40s. If you're older than me, tell me something in my 30s I should have identified and I didn't. And if you're younger than me, let me know if you already have some of these skills, because I would love to know that shit as well. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.